Hi, Jocelyn. It's good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
So today for our interview, I'm going to ask you some personal questions, and the purpose for these questions is just so that I can get to know a little bit more about you, so that we can kind of best assess, where you're at right now with some of these issues that I'm going to bring up, and then kind of just how we can work with it and what we can do to, have success for the future.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So the questions that I'm going to ask you, like I said, are very personal, but I just want to reiterate what we said in the last session about how everything in here is confidential.
Okay.
All right, so the first question I have for you is, when you were growing up, during the first 18 years of your life, did a parent or other adult in the household often swear at you, insult you, put you down, or humiliate you?
My dad was a raging alcoholic, and so most of the time he would come home from work very drunk, or he would say he'd come back from work, but now that I'm older, I realize that he probably was at a bar drinking.
Yeah.
And so he'd always yell at my mom, and then my mom would then turn get angry at me and my siblings, and so it just trickled down. So yeah, I can definitely see.
That would be one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did it ever proceed to the point where he was acting in a way that made you afraid that you would be physically hurt?
Yeah, I would say so, because my mom would try to stop him from, he always came in the house with a can of beer or a soda can, but really he hid the label so we wouldn't, me and my siblings, we didn't see it. But I would be afraid. I usually hid in my room a lot whenever he came home from work. As soon as he left for work, I'd come out, get ready for school. But I don't have a very good relationship with my dad because of that.
Okay, all right. So I'm going to go ahead and put a 1 here for this question. The next one I want to ask is, did a parent or either than another adult in your household, do they often push, grab, slap, or throw something at you?
My sister, she's about 5 years younger than me, and whenever my dad he'd get really angry at us for very little things. My sister and I, we always tiptoed around problems that he created. But he would go to lash out at my sister, and I'd kind of put myself in front of that, so that way she didn't get hurt. So I took most of the beatings that we didn't deserve.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and put a pin in that. Were these beatings ever so hard that you had marks or injuries?
This happened often, but I only remember marks on my body maybe once or twice.
Okay. I'm going to put a 1 then for that as well, just since, there was a time or two that it happened.
Mm-hmm.
Then the next question I want to ask is, if an adult or person at least 5 years older than you ever touched or fondled you or have touched your body in a sexual way?
No.
No, that never happened.
No, even though my dad was very alcoholic and drunk, I would never let it get to that point. I told you, I usually hid myself in my room. I try to have my sister go in there with me, but whenever we had to go use the bathroom or things like that, he started yelling at us.
Okay.
But as soon as I started to get older and he still continued to drink, I left the house with my sister. I didn't stay in my room, and I didn't stay home often. That's how I could put it.
All right. Well then, good. That's one that we can leave blank then. Did you often feel that no one in your family loved you or thought you were important or special?
There were times that, with my dad constantly yelling at me and my sister, I felt like he took his anger out on us, and so with that, maybe it put that in my mind, that he really didn't care, because what kind of father is going to come home and do all these things to his wife and his children?
Yeah.
And so there are times that when I get in a really depressed state that I think about maybe he really didn't care about having children.
Okay, so is this just a feeling that you get from him, or does often because he makes you feel this way, does it kind of trigger other emotions to make you feel that no one cared?
Because of that, I felt like he didn't care, but I don't feel like my mom tried her hardest either to protect my sister and I.
Okay. So would you say that this is one that would apply to you then?
I would say yeah.
Okay. Did you often feel that you didn't have enough to eat, or you had to wear dirty clothes and had no one to protect you?
I ate well, and I did my own laundry. I mean, I had to grow up quickly in that environment. But yeah, I didn't feel like I had anyone to protect me.
Okay.
I feel like I had to protect my sister, so I was the protector.
Okay. So you'd say this one would apply to you then, since you didn't feel like there was someone to protect you?
Yeah. As soon as I hit 18, I was out of the house.
Okay.
I didn't want to be in that environment anymore. Even though my sister is still there, I try to take her over to my house often, and I don't visit often.
Okay. All right. Well, that's important information there. Were your parents ever separated or divorced?
Surprisingly, no. They never separated or divorced. My mom is too convinced. Like, she tries to convince him not to leave. So she's more of like the quiet, settled down one, and my dad's more of the wild one. And so with that works well for them. But my mom would never think about leaving my dad, which is why I feel like she didn't ever stand up for me and my sister because of the things that happened.
Okay, all right. That makes sense. Sometimes you just don't want to take the initiative to get out of those situations. So we can leave that one blank then. Was your mother or stepmother often pushed, grabbed, slapped, or had something thrown at her? So this would be abuse towards your mother.
Maybe once or twice, but my mom, like I told you, she was the one that tried to calm him down, didn't really do much conflict, so she never started any fights. It was usually always him, but I was the one protecting my sister. I never tried to protect my mother just because I was a little resilient towards her, if that makes any sense. So no, I would put a no because it was usually directed more towards my sister and I.
Okay, all right, that's good. Did you live with anyone who was a problem drinker or alcoholic? So yes for that one. Let's see. Was a household member depressed or mentally ill, or did a household member ever attempt suicide?
I don't know what's wrong with my dad to have him drinking. Like, you don't have to have a problem to drink, I think, but I don't know. That's a good thought. I'd never thought maybe my dad could have something mentally wrong with him in order to have those issues of constantly drinking or something like that.
So you think your father was mentally ill?
Maybe. I think so.
Okay.
But we haven't ever done any tests to figure that out.
Okay.
Because even if I were to bring up that idea to my mother, she would oh no, he's fine. Don't worry about him. I mean, you're out of the house anyways.
So. Okay. Well, we'll go ahead and mark that one then, since there could have been some depression on his part there. Did a household member ever go to prison?
No.
Okay. All right. That's good. So from this paper, what we just did here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which I'm going to write down here. That's how many of these questions applied to you. So this right here, what this number means is this is your ACE score. ACE, it stands for Adverse Childhood Experiences. And all that this score really means is it gives me and my team or anybody who is involved to give you care just a little bit more insight on some of your past and just better how to direct your future. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to just transition right now to another activity that we're going to do that's going to help me give a little bit more insight into your life. And this is going to be what I call an eco map. And basically I'm just going to we're going to do a little drawing graph here to figure out what are the strong and weak connections in your life. Okay, does that make sense? Okay. All right, so I'm going to draw a circle right here and write Jocelyn in it. So this is you. Okay. And I want to start by asking you, what are some other circles you have in your life, like your family? I'm going to go ahead and put that here. Family. And then, let's see, what would you say would you say that you had a weaker connection to your family then because of your father?
I would say yes, but I have a strong connection with my sister, not so much my parents.
Okay. So let's adjust this a little bit, and we'll put parents, and I'm going to do a squiggly line here that means that the connection is a little weaker, and then I'm also going to put your sister separately, and that one will be a straight line because it's a strong connection. Okay. What are some other outlets you have? What about, are you part of a church?
No, I'm not.
No. Okay.
No, my parents never were involved in church.
Okay.
And so because of that, not having any connection, I haven't felt the necessity to go to a church.
Okay.
But, I mean, I'm in college right now. I pay for my tuition, so I work. And I have some friends at work, some coworkers. I don't really vent to anyone. I've only ever talked to someone professional about my situation. But I have a very not shallow relationship with my coworkers, but it's at the level, at the top level, if that makes any sense.
So right here, I'm gonna put coworkers.
It's not a deep relationship.
It's not a deep relationship, but you don't think it's necessarily stressful on you. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and put a straight line, just to know that it's not something that causes you stress. You mentioned that you were in college right now. What is your school life like? Is that stressful? Is it pretty good?
It's stressful. Right now I'm a nursing major.
Okay.
And I'm a senior, so that really affects me a lot with clinicals and having to wake up early.
Okay.
And just having to deal with patients.
Right, of course. All right, I'm going to do a squiggly line then here since this is something that causes you stress. Let's see. What about your job? Is that something that you enjoy?
I work at a fast food restaurant, Red Robin's. I really like to work there. The coworkers are really nice to me, and so the environment, I like to go there.
So it almost sounds like it's a stress outlet for you then.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put a straight line there to demonstrate that. What about your circle of friends? What are they like?
I have some classmates that I've gotten to know over the past 4 years, and they've heard my situation, and they've always been there for me. So I would definitely say I have a really good, they're my best friends. So I think I have a really good connection with them. They're there for me. They're kind of like my parents in a way.
All right, well, good. I'm going to put that there then to demonstrate that. Let's see, what are some other groups or influences in your life that you would say could either be strong or stressful?
As soon as I moved out, I really wanted to be alone in my house, but I feel like I needed something else there. So I decided to get a little dog. Aww. And so I would definitely consider him my best friend because I come home and he's always there excited to see me.
It's so sweet. What kind of dog is it?
He's a little German Shepherd. He's still a puppy. Aww. But I love him to death.
Oh, that's great. All right. So we have your dog here. What about any extended family? Are you close with any?
No, we live in Michigan, and all my other families in California. So we don't ever get to see them because they don't like my dad.
Okay.
It's all my mother's family. So they don't want anything to do with my dad, but my dad won't let us see the family in California. Now I'm old enough to go over there, but I don't have a connection with them. So I'm just showing up to strangers' house.
Yeah.
Realistically. So it's just me and my sister in my mind.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and put another squiggly line here to demonstrate that. Okay. Would you say that this right here is a good representation of kind of your circle?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good. This is very valuable information to know. And now that I know a little bit more about you and where your connections lie, we can proceed further to figure out what kind of things we can find to help you with outlets and help just kind of your stress levels and help you feel more at peace with everything going on. Does that sound good?
Yes, it does.
All right. Would you like to meet again next week at the same time?
Yes, please.
Okay. All right. Look forward to seeing you then.
Thanks.